It's French, it's romantic, but is yet another hotel rating system really justified?
I think it is, and I think it's something that could be exported.
I've got the best address for star-crossed lovers this Valentine's, and where in the world to celebrate Carnival outside of Rio?
And we meet the man they call the godfather of social networking.
I jokingly refer to myself as the man who can't say no.
Hello and welcome to Fast Track in Paris. I'm Rajan Datar. Now the French have cornered the market in applying elite status, or should I say appellation, to all things luxurious. Fine wine, fine dining, perfumes and clothing, or should I say haute couture. Now they want to do the same thing to hotels with a new palace rating. But is this just a vanity badge handed out by a self-serving club, or should I say clique?
It's an ever-changing city, but Paris has an eternal reverence for all things elegant and stylish. And architecture, even at its most everyday, is a case in point. While creating new categories for luxury is almost a science for the French. And so, what was already an unofficial title, the Palace distinction, is now set to be an exclusive accolade for a select group of hotels, probably including this one, Le Bristol. Just a short hop from the Champs-Élysées, Le Bristol dates back to the roaring 20s, and it's the hotel's Gallic vintage that its manager is very keen to emphasise.
Consistently, the Bristol has been a major feature in Paris. It goes back to the 20s, it goes back to 1939, where all the Americans are staying at the Bristol. It's the only palace which is not occupied during the Second World War.
It was only last year the French introduced the 5-star rating, honouring some 140 hotels with the accolade. So, what are the criteria needed to become a palace hotel? Didier Calvez should know. He was on the committee that decided what they were.
You have to be first a 5-star hotel. You need to have, when you're a 5 stars, a number of optional items. They are no longer optional as far as the palace is concerned. Then we're looking at a building with a certain history, being part of the landmark.
And you also have to have top-class restaurants, a spa, and it's de rigueur that the bill is eye-wateringly expensive. Not much mention of environmentally friendly features, mind you.
The rooms have to be of a certain minimum size, say between 25 and 30 square metres. I think this one just about passes the test.
The staff have to be polyglots. That's speak a few foreign languages to you and me.
Bonjour monsieur, bienvenue à l'hôtel Le Bristol Paris. أهلا وسهلا بكم في هôtel Le Bristol. Good morning, sir.
And the switchboard or reception has to answer the phone within 5 rings.
But here we aim for 3.
Je ne veux pas travailler.
But isn't it a bit strange that managers of hotels, like Didier, who are being awarded the palace status, also decided the criteria required to be one? And why not stay with the star rating formula?
Isn't it the same as saying 6 stars or 7 stars? You just call it a different word. You just use a different word, palace.
Yes, we do agree on that. The only thing is that if you say 6, someone else is going to say 7, and then another one is going to call it 8. At least we have 5 stars and a distinction which is palace. And ideally, this is where it stops.
For your pleasure, I created a dream.
The practice of creating new superstar categories of hotels does not meet with universal approval. Last year, Fast Track looked at how comparing hotels from country to country based on their star ratings is nigh on impossible, and how adding new distinctions can be even more worthless.
They want to be apart from the 4 or 5 stars existing. They call themselves 6 stars, 7 stars, 10 stars. This is only done for prestige. No such thing exists. 5 stars is already too much. Now 10 stars, it's becoming out of control.
And many leading hotel chains today say they don't use any rating systems because they don't actually help the consumer.
We would prefer to use our brand, so whether you're staying in a holiday in Beijing or in Birmingham, you know what you're going to get.
Brands today mean so much more than just a guarantee of quality level and price point. Brands resonate with different types of guests depending on what they want. The star system can't capture that.
Meanwhile, some hotels appear to have backtracked from their self-assigned 6- and 7-star ratings, saying other indicators are more reliable.
It's more the marketeers that are driving 5-star, 6-star, 7-star than maybe the true benchmark of 5-star rating. But I think the consumer today is so well read between the internet, between wonderful high-end magazines with shows like yourselves that really set the tone that they get the experience that this is really a luxurious resort and at the very top of the market.
The hotels that qualify for this elite clique will call themselves the happy few. But what about those hotels that don't make it onto this A-list?
Is it just a coincidence that this new palace distinction is arriving just when a new wave of top hotels from Asia are set to challenge the ancien regime of old Parisian stalwarts like Le Bristol? And that despite their global reputation, the newcomers from Asia will be, for a good while at least, ineligible for palace status.
Is that a very clever move to
No,
separate
honestly, I generally like not to think that. I think it's more of a long-term view. Any hotels that open require certain time. We need to give them time to get to a certain level. You mentioned about new hotel coming. We have Mandarin coming at the end of this year. We have Peninsula coming 2 years. I think every hotelier in the world knows that those chains are going to be palace property.
I think the best indicator is really credibility. Our company happens to be the oldest hotel company in Asia, so that in itself is a very good indicator. And also, obviously, the number of staff, the extended facilities, that are all very good indicators to our customers.
Some argue that if you're wealthy enough to stay at these places, then you'll be au fait with your hotel of choice anyway, so the palace tag is unnecessary. But this website reviewer says it will appeal to one type of customer at least.
In terms of foreign visitors coming to France, it's going to give another level to 5-star hotels. But also there are some people, especially in the Middle East, visitors, who will only come and stay in palaces. They want to see this name. So it's kind of Paris trying to keep up with the rest of Europe.
And reviewers do feel there has to be extra vigilance on standards.
We can come and visit and make sure that they're keeping up to the standard they need to be. But I mean, there's also one of the elements of this palace status, this palace label, is that the jury and the people who come and check, they do that every so often. I think really it needs to be every few months.
But ultimately, the elite hoteliers have no trouble with looking down their noses at the rest.
Some people might say this is like a self-serving clique. What would you say to that?
Why not?
And significantly, the UK Tourism Authority, Visit Britain, has just abandoned the hotel star rating system, saying that instead it prefers consumer opinion on this, through travel websites, for instance. But that opens up a whole new can of worms. And we'd like your views on this, so email us at fasttracktravel@bbc.co.uk. OK, let's see what else is making news in the world of travel this week.
British Airways has increased its fuel surcharge on long-haul flights for the second time in 3 months. Passengers will have to pay around $20 extra per journey sector, taking the surcharge to between $120 and $200, depending on flight length and class of travel. Last week, we reported on the effect that political unrest was having on Egypt's tourism. However, nearby countries are also feeling the pinch. Tourism officials in Jordan have said that the sector suffered a monthly loss of $70 million. A fire has destroyed more than 8,000 costumes made for the world-famous Rio Carnival. 4 warehouses were damaged in the blaze at Samba City, as well as a Samba school and Carnival museum. The president of the Samba Group Alliance described the loss as tremendous, but vowed that the carnival would go ahead. The carnival, due to begin on the 4th of March, attracts thousands of tourists from across the world. And the newly formed Thai company PC Air has become the first airline to hire transsexual flight attendants. The airline hopes to create a different image to their competitors by actively employing transgender employees. 4 transgender staff have already been recruited, but PC Air says it hopes to employ more before the airline launches in April, citing attractiveness and femininity as important qualifications for employment.
Don't go away, because coming up after the break, a recipe for success. We meet the man behind the original Paris Supper Club.
It's a pot. You stir it up.